Here's integrated 3. It's 11 dash 7.4, letter B. It wants us to change the equation to graphing form, and then sketch the graph and label each vertex and axis of symmetry. So the first thing I have to do is put it in graphing form. So I know that graphing form is y equals a times something like that, or you can say y minus k equals a times x minus h squared. Something like that. That's graphing form. So I need to complete the square on this, but I have a 3 in front of my x squared, so that's a problem. Sometimes you're able to factor that out, but I can't really factor a 3 out of the x. Well, I could make it be 1/3, but I decided to just add the 8 to both sides, and then divide both sides by 3. So instead of dividing by 3, though, I multiplied by 1/3. Okay, so that divide by 3 gives me just a 1 on my x squared and a 1/3 here. And then that frees me up to be able to complete the square. So when I'm completing the square, I take half of the coefficient of the x and square it and add that to both sides. So what is half of negative 1/3? Well, I can times it by a half, and that gives me negative 1/6, and then I have to square it. So 1/36. So I'm going to add 1/36 to both sides. Okay, so this thing will be not very good looking. This will be, I'm going to leave it alone for a second. This over here is going to be a perfect square trinomial. It's going to be x minus 1/6 all squared. Okay, but now I've got a little bit of a mess over here. So what to do? I think I'm going to call this 1/3 y plus, I didn't want to do this. I probably should have done something differently, but it's okay. I probably should have just done the factoring in the first place. I thought I was maybe helping here. It's okay though. So what I need to do is add these two fractions. So 36 would be a nice common denominator for me. So 3 times 12 is 36. 8 times 12 is 96. Okay, so when I add these together, I get 97/36. And then I'm going to minus from both sides. Okay, and then I'm going to just, I think I'll multiply both sides by 3. Now, what is 3 times, well, let's see. On scratch paper, I'm going to find out what this equals. So if I'm multiplying, because I have to multiply both of these by 3, this one's easy, I just put a 3. This one, I don't really want to find out what 3 times 97 is. I'm just going to cancel out. So now I've got negative 97/12. Okay, and so that's graphing form. So that's good enough for graphing form. I probably should have just factored out, like I said earlier, the 1/3, because it looks like I brought it over and then I had to bring it back. So, but this is the graphing form. So now we're ready to, they want us to graph it. So just get a graph. Well, I guess I have enough room. I'll just make a graph. And so if you remember, H and K give me the vertex. So it's going to be right by 1/6. So if this is 1, then the vertex is going to be, I'll just say, in here somewhere. It's like 1/6. And 97/12 is about, I don't know, is it about 8 or 9, or let's just see exactly what it is. It's about 8.0 something. It's very close to 8, so we'll just say say it's, oh, we'll say it's down there somewhere. This is supposed to be lined up right here, okay? And then I'm going to have to find some points on each side. I should redraw it, huh? Let's draw it a little bit better. So if this is 1, that would right there would be 1/6, and then we'll just say this is okay. So we'll just put it right there, and then I need to get some points. So I think I will just plug some numbers in. I'll try to think of a nice number that I could plug in here. I don't know if there are any nice numbers for this thing. Wow. So, well, I can find out whenever x is 0. It probably won't be pretty, but I'm just going to plug in for x is 0. So if x is 0, then I've got 3 times negative 1/6 squared. Well, let's find out what negative 1/6 squared is. Here, just, well, I don't need to use a calculator. 1/6 times 1/6 is 1/36. Okay, and so 1/36, that's the negative 1/6 squared. It'll be positive. And then I'm going to times it by 3. Well, that gives me 1/12. And then I have to minus 97/12 from it. And that gives me negative 96/12. So, well, let's see what that is. That's still very close to 8, I think. Oh. Oh, it is 8. Okay, so it's negative 8. Okay, so, and then I know there's going to be another one. This right here is a line of symmetry. If that's negative 8, this would be like positive 8 and a little bit, like positive 8 and 1/6 or something like that. Just to give a little shape to my graph. And then I have to say what the axis of symmetry is. So I'm going to say that it's x equals 1/6. Okay, and what's my vertex? My vertex is going to be 1/6, comma, negative 97/12. Okay, so there's my axis of symmetry, there's my vertex. Oh, there's my graphing form, and there's my graph.